Hello, gifted and talented student. This is Mr. Jones. I've called you down here and asked you to watch this video because you're identified as gifted and talented in math or language arts or both, or perhaps even another area such as art or creativity. Regardless, you're here to write some goals. Now, prior to this year, especially if you're a sophomore, junior, or senior, you didn't have to write these goals in high school. You do now because it's the law. So this year is the first year we're doing this. And you will need to do or review goals each year you're in high school. This is called an advanced learning plan. And some of you might remember doing this in elementary school or middle school with your gifted and talented teacher. It's a pretty easy process. I'll walk you through it, and it shouldn't take too much time at all. So you should have a Chromebook or a computer in front of you. What I'd like for you to do is on Cherokee Trail's homepage, you're going to click on Naviance, which is right here on your screen. After you click Naviance, you will need to continue and navigate away from Cherokee Trail's homepage, and you'll see a screen just like this. Most of you will just type in your Active Directory login. For me, it's J. Jones. Some of you older students, especially seniors, might have to write in your entire Creek mail address. Your password will be your student ID number. If it doesn't work with just your last name and or number, go ahead and type in the actual full email address. Your password, remember, is your student number. After that, you're going to press Login. After you've logged in, you should see a screen that looks like this. At this point, I'd like to remind you that you can press pause with videos. I'm going to go maybe quicker than you want me to. Therefore, if at any time you need to press pause on this video to catch up, by all means do. So, you're on the family connection of Naviance. What I'd like for you to do at this point is go up to the top tab About Me and press that. There are two things on this page that I'm interested in for you. First is the survey, which is where you're going to write your goals. That's right over here. However, if you navigate down this page, you're going to see test scores. When you click on test scores, any test that you've taken in high school should be listed on this page. The reason I show you this is because you're going to have to be able to measure your goal. And if your goal has to do with increasing your English language or mathematics PSAT score, you'll need to know what score you received last year. Perhaps if you're a sophomore, you want to increase your PSAT score in an effort to affect positively your SAT. So just so you know, that's where you find test scores. Now I'm going to navigate back up, and I'm going to click the Gifted and Talented ALP 2017-2018. You're going to see when I open mine that it's part of it anyway is already filled out. I'm going to walk you through how to write these goals. So please click on the Gifted and Talented survey. Remember, press pause if any time you're getting behind. So you'll see the Gifted and Talented ALP 2017-2018 right up there. The first question asks you what your area of giftedness is. It's either language arts, or math, or both, or perhaps other. So you'll click the appropriate boxes. If you're both, you're just going to press both. If you're math, just math. And if you're language arts, just language arts. And of course, if you're art or anything like that, other. So for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to select both. If you do not know where you are identified, we'll have a list of identifications up at the desk. You can ask and it will be provided. Remember, pause if you need to. So now, after clicking that box, I'm going to scroll down to this text box. This is where you're going to type your goal. I've got a couple different ways you can write goals. So for just a moment, I'm going to navigate away from this page to show you some examples. So you'll notice I have sample language arts reading and writing goals in paragraph format, in bullet format, and then I have the same thing in math right here. paragraph format, and bullet format. I suggest you take the approach that most applies to you. All of these are good goals, and all of these goals fit in what we call the SMART format. SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So let's take a look. I'm going to concentrate on the bullet format first in language arts, but all of this applies to all goals. Notice the student's goal is to grow from a 6 to an 8 on the AP writing rubric. That's a fine goal, however, it's not quite SMART yet. So we get into greater detail with the S. How is it specific? This goal relates to my current English class and a specific score. How is it measurable? I will know if I achieve this goal if I move from a 6 to an 8. How is it attainable? This is the how part of your goal. So what are you going to do to achieve your goal? In this case, use vocabulary strategies in reading, mimic others' syntax in my writing, and correctly use new vocabulary in writing with teacher input. How is it relevant? AP Lang could get me college credit and prepare me for college writing, and of course timely is the easiest one. You will complete this goal this year. You'll notice the paragraph format just above says pretty much the same thing and maybe adds a few things. Both are perfectly acceptable goals. In the paragraph format, the first thing you're going to do is identify where you would like to grow. For this student, it's to grow in vocabulary and complex syntax in writing. And then, based on teacher feedback in my AP language class, I'm currently at a 6 on the AP rubric. I would like to grow to an 8. That's the measurable piece. And how is the student going to do that? I am going to be more mindful of vocabulary in my reading through underlining unknown words, looking them up, and using them in my own writing. I am also going to be mindful how authors craft sentences and mimic their complex constructions. And then finally, the timely piece, I will reflect upon my goal at the end of the year to see if I achieved it. If you're going to write a language arts goal, you can go ahead and start doing that now based on these examples. If you're going to write a math goal, it's no different. In paragraph form, the same thing applies. I struggle with mathematical accuracy within time constraints of given assessments. Though this is a student that doesn't struggle in math per se, but struggles finishing tests on time. So what is this student going to do? I will work with my teacher to modify my study habits and become more familiar with tests. And in so doing, here's the measurable piece, move from meeting benchmarks to exceeding them by the end of the year. That goal in SMART format, or in bulleted format, is right here. So if you like, pause this video and go ahead and write your language arts goal and or your math goal now. After you've finished writing your math, language arts, or perhaps other goal in the text box, you will go ahead and complete the survey below. In questions 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, it asks you about your strength in any given area. Go ahead and check all that apply. In question 8, it asks you where you want to grow. This doesn't have to be a weakness, but it might be. So you'll click the area of growth. Then you will need to tell us where on the rubric you fall. The rubric, or for the rubric, you need to access this packet that you should have in front of you. Notice at the top, that's the rubric. So depending on your area of growth, for this one it's self-awareness, you will select where on the continuum you are. So for example's sake, let's say I struggle with anxiety in competitive situations. I'm that kid who flips the Monopoly board when he's losing. If that's the case, I need to figure out where I am. Am I at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on this rubric? So for the sake of this goal, I'm going to say I'm at a 4. All I have to do is identify my area of need. For me, it's anxiety in competitive situations. And then tell what I'm going to do about it. And then you'll access this box below. So given that I struggle with anxiety in competitive situations, I am going to analyze how personal qualities influence choices and successes. That's what I'm going to do about it. From wherever I said I was in this rubric to wherever I'd like to grow to, and perhaps that's from a 4 to a 5. The hard part of this one is that you need to reference the rubric. This is the CCSD Social Emotional Affective Rubric, and I'll show you that right now. Right here is the goal I just said orally. Given that I struggle with anxiety in competitive environments, I will analyze how my personal qualities influence my personal choices and successes. I will increase my baseline competency from a 4 to a 5 on this rubric. You can do it this way in paragraph form, or you can do it this way in SMART form. The only thing that you're really going to have to pay attention to is this handout. What is your area of need, and what category does it fit in? For me, it was self-awareness, but for you, it might be another area. So if you look, maybe you turn to the page that says responsible decision-making skills. Maybe it's flexible thinking skills or social awareness, even relationship skills or leadership. So I'd like for you to write that effective goal now. As I said before, pause this video until you're ready to continue. Here is my example for you to look at as you write your own goal. Once you finish this survey, go ahead and submit your answers. Now, once you've submitted your answers, you'll not be able to edit them. However, you will be able to access your answers or your survey so that you and your parents can look at your goals and modify them as you see fit. However, you will need to see a counselor to do that modification because, like I said, you cannot access them and edit them. Go ahead and do that now. Once you finish, submit your answers and you are done. You can log off from your computer and go on your way. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me or your counselor. Thank you again for coming in, and have a great rest of your day and rest of your year.